Hey there, people, my lovelies. How are you? Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all doing fine. Hope you're all fit and healthy and keeping going, doing what we need to be doing. Thought I'd just jump on here, have a quick rant about a few things that have happened in the last kind of 7 days, and get a few things off my chest. Okay, first things first. Let's tackle the thing that really ticked me off earlier this week. Again, moronic protesters taking to poor old Trafalgar Square again. Trafalgar Square taking a bit of a battering of late. Anti-vaccination protesters. Now, I'm completely fine with if people don't want to have the vaccination, that's fine. If people have had it, that's fine. I'm not going to judge anyone. It's not for me to judge and tell people who's right and who's wrong. And it's not for these dickheads that keep meeting up in mass groups to be quite nasty in their opinions of the vaccination. One particular person who, to my shock, when I looked a bit more into the kind of the things that carried on in Trafalgar Square, she was an ex-nurse. Get this, she made a big speech in front of all these dickheads, saying that people within the NHS that have been kind of administering the vaccine to people should be hung and killed. And this crowd in front of her were fucking cheering it on. So you've got not just like 10 or 20 people, there's a good few thousand odd people there actually condoning killing NHS members of staff and hanging them because they've administered the vaccine. What fucking kind of world are we living in at the moment where they're allowed to make these statements and they're not shut down for it? How are we allowing people protesting is one thing, but condoning and advocating killing people isn't a protest. That's just basically bordering on kind of moronic ranting. But it seems to be people are allowed to protest now. They're allowed to say as controversial things as they like because it's all in this spirit of where it's a free country, we're allowed to protest. However, when something comes up that is worth protesting about, and people want to do it in a polite, officious way, they're the ones that are shut down. They're the ones that the police steam in on and stop them from carrying on. These morons were allowed to go on for hours with this tirade of killing NHS staff and hanging them for giving out a vaccine. If you don't want to take the vaccine, that's fine. It is your choice. It's not been made compulsory. I don't know why people are getting so fucking hung up on the fact that they don't want to take it. If you don't want to take it, you don't have to. It's as simple as that. I know that these vaccine passports are coming in and people are saying it's going to be unfair if these come in, and they probably will. But it probably is a bit of an unfair way of doing things. But desperate times call for desperate measures, and we've got to try and get back to normal. And if it means that people that aren't vaccinated are more of a risk of falling ill and going into hospital and possibly dying than people that have been single vaccinated and double vaccinated, then we've got to do something about that. People that work in hospitality, people that work in customer service that have to deal with people hundreds a day, they've had to do it all the way through the pandemic and put their lives at risk because the volume of people they're coming into contact with. If you can control the people that you come into contact with in regards to how much of a risk are they and how much of a risk are you to them, then you've got to do something about that. I know everyone's not going to agree on this, and I know there's, the anti-vaxxers are going to say it's a form of control. Well, it is. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Yes, it's a lot better than it was. However, it's not gone away. It's still here. It's not fake. As much as the anti-vaxxers are saying this whole thing's been made up, it's not been made up. Grow up. Realise what's going on around you. Talk to people that have been through it. Talk to people that have lost people. They're not making it up. They've not made up a fact that one of their relatives might have died. They've not made up the fact that they were poorly, that talk to people that have got long COVID. Were these people saying, oh, it's just a flu? I'm sorry, but flu doesn't leave you with lasting effects after you've had it. COVID does. Talk to anyone that's suffering long COVID still now. But they won't talk to people and want facts. They'd sooner get their information from some twat on the internet making bullshit up just to get a bit of attention and a bit of attention seeking. And it's got to stop. On the subject of attention seeking, one of the biggest attention seekers in human history, Piers Morgan, is at it again. He made a comment about the American gymnast who has pulled out of the Olympics with mental health issues, saying that she needs to concentrate on her mental health and she can't concentrate on what she's doing. Fair play to her. You know, people need to speak up more about mental health. It shouldn't be something that's kind of pushed away and no one talks about it. So what does Piers Morgan do? Rather than applaud her, he tries to liken his situation of when he stropped off because someone said something he didn't agree with on a TV show. He tries to make comparisons between what she's done and what he did, as if they're saying that she was a strong person to walk away from something because of her mental health. He must be in that same category that he was a strong person because he walked off of a TV show. Two completely different things. She's suffering from mental health. He is just an attention-seeking, talentless twat that does things just to stir up as much problems as he possibly can. We should not keep giving this guy airtime and media time because that's what he thrives on. He says these things to get a reaction, but he doesn't realise that these things offend people. People with mental health, he's had a bit of a kicking of them in the past, telling that men with mental health should man up. He said that quite openly on GMTV, that any man that's citing having mental health issues just needs to grow a set and become a man. And he was allowed to say that and get away with that and still kept his job. Now he's being allowed to have a pop at mental health again. I don't wish mental health issues on anyone. Having kind of suffered from kind of anxiety and stress, it's not a nice place to be in. I wouldn't wish it on anyone except Piers Morgan. I would love for him to just have a day in the life of someone that suffers from anxiety or suffers with stress and know what they go through, that everything has got to be calculated, everything is a worry, everything is a concern, and you can't live. It's all right for him. He's nicely well off, you know. He doesn't need to work at the moment. He's fully happy popping up on Twitter and posting things online, having a dig at everyone. You know, he's got quite a nice life out of it. But not everyone's as fortunate as he is, and he needs to realise that, and he needs to be a bit more made aware that mental health isn't people being weak. That's the whole problem at the moment. People don't speak out because they're made to feel that they're weak if they do, and they're not. They're actually strong to speak out and take actions and be quite open to people and say, look, I'm suffering. You know, it's okay to be okay, it's okay to not be okay. And this guy just fucks me off no end. I think someone really just needs to really blast him and really bring him down a peg or two. Maybe even Twitter, just kind of take him off Twitter and say, no, sorry, the stuff that you spout is insensitive as it is condescending just to get attention. The guy really, words fail me. I couldn't believe it when I read what he'd said. I mean, the stuff that he's done in the past alone, you know, we won't cover that now. Everyone knows what he's been guilty of in previous jobs, and now he's rising up again and doing it again. It's a fucking sad state of affairs. Moving on, the Olympics not really had a lot of time to watch the Olympics because they're on at such a ridiculous hour in the morning. Every now and again I've caught some of the most bizarre sports. I caught the skateboarding the other day. I thought to myself, how on earth that becomes an Olympic sport is beyond me, when there's sports out there that still aren't assessed to be of an Olympic standard. I could think of 3 sports now where where you still need a lot of skill, and they're still not considered Olympic events. Snooker, for one, got to be very skillful to do that. Cricket is not an Olympic event. They're just 2. I mean, not being funny, if you're going to give skateboarding Olympic status, then you might as well give it to darts, as far as I'm concerned. Other than that, as well, very, very strange with the dressage with the horses. I just don't get it. I can completely get show jumping and horses showing how powerful they are and jumping over things and that kind of thing. Can completely get and understand horse racing. You're watching a horse, again, its power and its speed. Dressage, I just don't fucking get it. Online, the other day I said it's like basically watching horses mince for 7 minutes. 7 minutes they do this for. Fair play to the commentators. The commentators that were commentating on it the other day. How you make something like that, watchable. They'd done their absolute best to try and kind of jazz it up, and they tried to kind of put a bit of enthusiasm and a bit of excitement in their commentary, and fair play to them. They'd done their best, and it did kind of add to it. But if we're going to have events like that in the Olympics, why are we missing certain things? Why have we not got golf in the Olympics then? Why have we not got any kind of sports that are watched by the masses and they need a high level of skill? Why are we still not acknowledging them? But maybe in a few years' time we'll get some of these sports, coming in to the Olympics. I'm really surprised snooker's never been in there, though. Really am surprised, but there we go. Other than that, it's just a general kind of. I see Love Island is still dragging on. How long is this shit on for? It seems like it's been on the entire year so far. Absolutely no interest in it whatsoever. Couldn't even name one person in it because it holds no interest for me. It's desperate men and desperate women doing whatever they will to get people to recognise them and acknowledge them, and then to be made into a celebrity and then end up on ITVB. It's just basically like a screen test for ITVB, isn't it? Love Island. Talking of TV programmes, I was really surprised to read this morning. X Factor's been cancelled. They will not be doing another ever series of X Factor. Now, just before everyone goes, "Ree," down the years we've had some absolute classic good moments and some classic cringe moments, and it was kind of a staple of Saturday evening TV. Saturday evening TV at the moment is a bit poor. I can understand them maybe putting it on hold because it was getting a bit boring. It was the judges all doing the same kind of behaviour and picking the same kinds of acts every year. So it was just kind of like watching a rerun, just different faces. But all it really needed was put some judges in there that are their own people, make their own decisions, not told what to do, but put people through that they genuinely like rather than put people through that they're told to. And to stop having types. You don't have to have certain types of people every year in a competition. That's what made it in the first couple of years anyone had a chance. Now, they're inviting people from other countries to come. So people are being invited. So it's not people turning up and you find that person that no one's ever heard of, and all of a sudden they get recognised for being really good. They know these people are good and they're inviting them to come onto the programme. So I think that's where it's kind of suffered in the last few years of its existence, that it just become predictable. But it could have been resolved. You could have changed the judges up. You could have changed the rules. But it has been cancelled. Bit of a shame. Really now with Saturday night TV, the only thing really that on the masses watch is Strictly. There's no X Factor now anymore, so it'd be interesting to see what they do come up with. Maybe Britain's Got Talent's going to come back, but obviously with the way things are still at the moment, with not the kind of social distancing, but events and how many people can you have in places, Britain's Got Talent's a bit difficult to arrange at the moment. Lastly, we're a kind of a week or nearly 2 weeks now from Freedom Day, as it was labelled by the media, and then the media tried to say that the government called it that. I must admit, everywhere I've been, everywhere's and everyone is carrying on as they were. They haven't changed anything. You know, people are wearing masks indoors when they need to. People are kind of still, you know, the social distancing thing has become more of a respect thing now. People are respecting people's personal space, which is great. People are still wearing masks. No one's being condemned for wearing them, apart from your moronic anti-vaxers, and we won't get back on them again because I'll just end up absolutely losing it based on their behaviour. So yeah, I think nothing's really changed. You know, okay, it's not compulsory, but everyone's still carrying on. I'm still carrying on wearing a mask, definitely on public transport, without a doubt. Workplaces are still insisting on it. My workplace is still insisting on, when you're walking around the building away from your desk, you have to wear a mask, and I'm quite happy to do that, because we've got to start chipping away at it. We've got to start getting a bit more normality back, and if it means that we've got to kind of keep on doing things, then we've got to keep on doing these things. We don't really, even though they've said we can't go into another lockdown, we don't want to get into a bad situation where we have to, because from a mental health perspective, from a financial perspective, from everything, it wouldn't be good to go through one of those again. Finally, not a rant, but a kind of something that really brought a smile to my face this week. Any of you guys that have got a Netflix account, Kevin Smith has kind of rebooted, reimagined Masters of the Universe He-Man, and it's 5 episodes. It's been brought up to date, so it's a bit more kind of like you would imagine it would be now, and it's fantastic, absolutely brilliant. I sat there with a big smile on my face all the way through it. If you were into those kind of programs back in the day, like in the 80s, kids TV, I suggest you check it out, because he's done a really good job. He's made it very relevant for the time without being PC, without having to kind of doff his cap to all these people saying, well, you've got to mention this, and inclusivity. He's just literally gone for it and just reimagined it, and it's really, really good. If you liked it as a kid, I'd watch it now as an adult. I just hope that it gives him the kind of like the enthusiasm to maybe have another a go at some other classic kind of TV cartoons. Maybe give it a go with Battle of the Planets. Thundercats would be massive. I know so many people that are into Thundercats. If he could do what he's done with Masters of the Universe with Thundercats and Battle of the Planets, I'll be one happy bunny. But yeah, give it a check out. I'm going to go anyway. Won't take up any more of your time. Appreciate you watching. Give us a like on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. Still trying to sort out this bloody software for doing the reaction videos. It still won't work, so I'm still kind of using the devices I'm using now. But yeah, I appreciate you guys watching it. I appreciate if you could make some comments on YouTube, make some comments on the Rich T Facebook page if you can. So yeah, enjoy the upcoming weekend. Everyone take care, look after yourselves, look out for everyone else, and I will talk to you again soon. Peace out, my lovelies.